Hi, I'm Judy. Welcome to Go with Yin Yoga and this Vata practice. Come to an easy seated position and just begin to notice your breath. Begin to let the day go by. Take any little movements you need to get rid of the tension in your muscles before we settle into our practice. Today's practice will help to strengthen your low back and your hips on a more subtle level. We are balancing Vata. Before we dive into that, I would like to read you this quote. Ayurveda teaches us to cherish our innate nature, to love and honor who we are, not as what people think or tell us who we should be. And I don't know who that quote is from. Ayurveda is considered the sister science of yoga. It has its own constitutions, or doshas as you may have heard them called. They are similar to, but different from, traditional Chinese medicine. And today we're going to be talking about Vata in particular. But first, let's begin our practice with a mudra, or hand gesture. So come to an easy seated position, hopefully having your hips higher than your knees so you can relax for a little while. And take your right hand, and the palm is going to face out about at heart level. And you'll curl your fingers in towards your palm, and then take your left hand, palm is facing in towards your body, also curl the fingers, and then you grasp your hands together by those curled fingers. If you're familiar with bear grip in Kundalini, this is very, very similar. We're going to inhale deeply through our nose, and as we inhale, we're going to energetically begin to try and pull those hands apart. You're not actually taking them apart, but you're just engaging the muscles of your back, of your shoulders, of your arms, really opening up through the heart. And as you exhale, you will then allow that tension to release. Let's begin. Inhale. Pull those hands apart. Exhale. Let go of the tension. 5 more times. Inhale. And exhale. Inhale. And exhale. This mudra can help to balance Vata Dosha. Inhale, pulling apart. Exhale, letting go. Inhale deeply, pull, pull, pull. And exhale, let that go. Last time. Inhale deeply. Pull, pull, pull. And exhale, let the tension go. Let the hands come to your heart for a moment and just notice anything you feel. In addition to helping to balance our Vata dosha, this mudra may help to improve digestion. And may also help to improve confidence. And now we're going to reverse the hands. So the left hand, palm will face out, fingers curl. The right hand, palm faces towards your body, fingers curl into the left hand. Same thing, breathing in and out 6 times. On the inhale, try and pull those hands apart. On the exhale, let everything go. Inhale, pull, 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 pull. Exhale, release tension. Inhale, pull. Exhale, release. Inhale, pull. Exhale, release. Inhale, pull. Exhale, release. Inhale, pull. Exhale, release. Last time. Inhale, pull. Exhale, release. Take your hands to your heart. Just close your eyes if that's comfortable. And notice any sensations you may feel. Notice if maybe you've relaxed some of that muscular tension that we carry in our upper back and our shoulders. And then slowly blink your eyes open. Our first posture is supported, seated butterfly pose. So butterfly pose, if you're not familiar with that, is where your feet come together like this. Soles of the feet come together, knees come out to either side. I do suggest a block under those knees, especially if you're knee to butterfly, and you hold just like this. So if you have no props, I'm going to ask you to do this. If you have a bolster, I'm coming off my pillow for now, a bolster and a sturdy block, and I'm going to sit up on a blanket and turn to face the short end of the mat. And you sit onto the edge of the blanket, just again to raise those hips a little bit, make this comfortable for the longer holds of Yin. And again, soles of the feet come together, knees come out to either side. I'm a little too close to my wall, but that is the perils of a small room. And take the bolster kind of right into yourself, lift it a little bit, and bring the block out in front. And then you can bring your hands down. You can wrap them around your ankles or your feet. And just begin to let your head be heavy. You can even take another blanket or block and place it on top of the bolster. Maybe get on your forehead. Very calming. So as we move through each posture in this practice, I want you to ask yourself, what is your current state? Emotionally, physically. Vata, the properties of Vata are cold, dry, light, rough, and mobile. So we are in the northern hemisphere, technically in winter. Winter is known as Kapha season, but no season is set in stone. So you may have days in winter that are more fall-like. You may have some very, very winter days. You may have days where you have 3 seasons in one day. I know that happens where I live. So I want you to ask yourself, what is my current state as you move through each posture? And I'd really like if you could embrace and really sink into your props during this practice. Think of it as the hug that you've been waiting for all day long. There's always an option with any posture to change the props, to change the position, and to change the pose or come out of the pose completely if it doesn't feel right to you. That's asking yourself what your current state is. Last couple of breaths here. And wherever you are, take your hands to the mat and begin to walk them back towards your body, slowly bringing your torso upright, slowly bringing your head upright. Take that bolster, if you have one, Set it off to the side. We'll need that later. Most likely you're not going to need another block, but you might want it, so have that in reach. It's never a bad thing. And actually, you can stay where you are, lean back onto your hands, and then just let both knees fall to one side, come through center, fall to the other side, and go back and forth a few times. And now you can come off of something if you've been sitting on something. You might want a couple of blocks at the top of your mat. I'm going to move that out of the way. Take your feet behind you. Come up into a tabletop position, shoulders over wrists, hips over knees. You can always pad your knees with a blanket if that's uncomfortable for you. And then begin to walk your hands down, really stretching your arms, opening up through your chest. Gaze is down at your mat, hips remain over your knees. And as we come into this pose, I invite you to ask yourself, what am I feeling? What emotion am I feeling now? If you're new to Yin Yoga, one of the most important principles of Yin Yoga is to find your personal edge. So generally when we come into a pose, we don't go as deep as we possibly can right away. Because one of the other principles is that we hold poses for longer than we do in Hatha Yoga. So you might want to raise your hands on blocks if this feels very difficult for you. You can also take that bolster, put it underneath your chest. And you could take a block, put it underneath your forehead. Remember, you can always come out of the pose temporarily if it's beginning to feel too much, or completely if you feel pain. Child's pose is a good complement to puppy pose. And then begin to press into your palms. Slowly begin to raise your torso. And then slowly begin to walk your hands back towards your body, back into that tabletop position. If you do have the bolster nearby, you can go ahead and grab it. And just straddle the bolster with your knees out to either side. If this bothers your ankles, you can go ahead and put a towel underneath or a small towel. And also if it bothers you to sit back on your hips, you can take a folded blanket and put it between the upper and lower legs. And then just come on down and put your head to one side. I'll let you know when to turn sides. And I want want you to think back to what is my current state in this pose. Is being still easier now that we have practiced several poses? Can you surrender completely to your prop? Do you feel safe? And if you don't, what do you need to do to adjust to feel safe? What is your current state right now? Go ahead and change the cheek that is laying on your bolster. Maybe check in with your breath here. Just notice what your breath is doing, maybe whether or not you need to adjust something. Go ahead and press into your palms. Slowly bring your neck so that your head is looking straight ahead. Walk your hands back towards your body. Go ahead and remove that bolster. Set it aside. And slowly bring the soles of your feet to your mat. Bringing your hips over towards the long end of your mat. And down onto your back. And bring one knee in towards your chest. Actually, no. Stretch one leg down towards the bottom of your mat. Bring one leg in towards your chest and then allow it to fall over your body. And if your knee is way up, it's okay to grab a block and put it underneath it. The support allows you to relax the muscles involved. And that's another, it's not one of the main principles of Yin Yoga, but it's important that we are not working our muscles. We're trying not to. We're going to work them somewhat, but we're going deeper than those muscles. So we want the muscles relaxed. And I'd like you to notice, as you're relaxing in your reclined twist, if any emotion bubbles up for you. Just notice it, no judgment. Just notice what may be coming up. And again, if this feels like too much, just bend that lower knee and take one bent knee on top of the other, and that might feel better to you. It's almost always an option. The last couple of breaths here. And then let go of your knees if you're holding on. Bring the sole of the foot of the leg with the bent knee back to the mat, and then the other foot back to the mat. Heel-toe them out as wide as your mat, and let your knees fall together. Make a few breaths here. And then begin to come to the other side of your mat. Stretch the opposite leg down towards the short end of the mat. Bending the opposite leg from the first side. Bringing it in towards your chest and then bringing it over the straight leg. So reclined twist on the other side. And here I'd like you to notice if you do notice any emotion that comes up for you in this pose. Is it the same as the first side or is it different? And if you don't feel any emotion at all, that is perfectly fine and normal as well. And we've worked to balance our Vata energy in this short Yin Yoga flow, using the twist like this, getting into our hips, opening across our heart. All of those great poses that can help balance that Vata energy, which is cold and dry and mobile and rough. Vata is associated with fall, but also early winter. In fact, today we are experiencing absolutely a very Vata day, minus the wind, but it's warm and it's kind of in between. It's warm for winter, it's not very windy, and it is wet. So that's how the energies that are associated with seasons. It's not cut in stone. Winter starts on this date and that means it's this season. No, it depends on your current state, where you live, day to day. It could change. So it's always a great idea to check in with yourself and ask yourself what your current state is. Last couple of breaths here. And slowly begin to bring your low back down onto your mat. Sole of the foot comes on, and then the other sole of your foot comes on. Knees are bent towards the sky, making the feet out as wide as your mat. And again, allowing your knees to fall in towards one another. Take a few deep breaths here. And notice what you feel. And then bring your knees back up towards the sky. Heel toe your feet in together. And stretch one leg down to the short end of your mat. Allow the foot to fall out. And the other. Hands can face up or down. Take them slightly away from your body. And I invite you to try taking some rolled up blankets or a bolster underneath your knees. That can help to relieve pressure on your low back. And I will be sitting up during our final pose, Shavasana, to mind the time. If you set an intention at the beginning of this practice, now is a great time to revisit that intention. Or you can think about the intentions that I supplied, which is on a physical level, strengthening your low back and your hips. And on a more subtle level, asking yourself what your current state is. Each day, each season, each pose. And I'm going to read the quote I read at the beginning of the practice again. Ayurveda teaches us to cherish our innate nature, to love and honor who we are, not as what people think or tell us who we should be. And that really plays into going deeply within, which winter is a great time to do, in getting to know yourself, asking yourself often, what is my current state? How can I balance this current state? And in Ayurveda, usually the opposite qualities will help to balance your constitution. So instead of dry, you want moist. Instead of cold, you want warm. So not a whole lot of raw food, not a whole lot of crackers. And I'm going to remain silent for the rest of your Shavasana so you can relax and just be. Begin to allow your breath to deepen. Making sure to close your eyes if they're not already closed, if that's comfortable for you. Notice the areas on your back, or whichever way you are taking your Savasana, that are in contact with your mat. So that may be the back of the head, the shoulder blades, buttocks, and heels. Feel your body becoming very heavy, as if your bones are settling towards the earth. Feeling safe and supported by the earth. Begin to take any little movements you need to bring yourself from that Shavasana state and into your present day. And maybe that's taking the head from side to side. Maybe wiggling fingers and toes. And keeping your eyes closed if they are. On your next inhale, take your arms up above your head, stretching from the tips of your fingers all the way down to your toes. Feeling your breath wash from the crown of your head to your toes, and from your toes to the crown of your head. And then bring the soles of your feet to your mat, knees bent up towards the sky. And allow your knees to fold over to whichever side feels most comfortable to you. And cradling your head on your bottom arm, take a few deep breaths here. Taking this time just for yourself. And refilling your cup so you can pour to everyone else. And still keeping those eyes closed, begin to walk your body upright. Or stay in Shavasana as long as feels right to you. And if you're upright, begin to feel the quality of the air in the room. Notice any sounds that are close to you, and then ones that are further away. On your next inhale, bring the palms of your hands to press together in front of your heart. Thumbs coming into your breastbone, lifting your spine nice and tall. Elbows flare out to either side, and gently bowing your head over your hands. May you be healthy. May you be happy. May you be free from pain and suffering. And may you always be aware of your current state. Slowly blink your eyes open, taking in your mat and the rest of the room. Allow your hands to fall gently into your lap, onto your knees. Thank you so much for practicing with me today. If you enjoyed this practice, go ahead and click the like button, which allows me to bring free yoga to more people. And if you're interested in connecting with more yogis, or interested in Yin Yoga and ways to de-stress, go ahead and look in the description box below. There's a link to the private Facebook group. And if you'd like to practice with me again, please subscribe and click the bell so you know when I release new videos. If you have any questions about Vata, go ahead and also drop them in the comments. All of January of 2024, we're going to be exploring practices that balance our Vata energy. And I'll be weaving little tidbits into those practices. Thank you so much for joining me again. And I hope that you can bring a state of calm and peace out into the rest of your day.